All right, thanks for tuning in. And tell you what, we have a lot to get through tonight. Wanted to do a update on exactly what all's going on. We have so much going on across the nation, not only right now, but as we get into the next week or so, um, with a potentially pretty big system moving on to the East Coast. Let's go on over, take a look at the current satellite picture. We can kind of see all that's going on. Obviously, the big thing that pops out to you down here is Hurricane Sandy that has just blown up over the past day or so, and you can see actually now on satellite getting this nice little eye down there, taking a very nice circular shape, getting some nice feeder bands on it. We'll talk about that here in just a second. The other thing too you can see is there's a front draping down across the Midwest here, and showers and thunderstorms getting going along that front, and even some snow. In fact, if you look over at radar, here's snow going on out across northeastern Colorado, Nebraska, even up into the Dakotas, and then thunderstorms getting going out along that front. In fact, you can see the front draping down through here, and out ahead of it, there's those showers and thunderstorms getting going from Wisconsin all the way down through Iowa, Nebraska, northern Kansas here, and then that snow, some heavy snow developing on the back side of it. Probably won't see much of accumulation because of the ground temperatures are still pretty warm. Going on over talking about Hurricane Sandy, this was as of 11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Winds were at 90 miles per hour here, a Category 1 storm with gusts of 115 miles per hour. Movements northeast or north at 13 miles per hour, and the pressure is 954 millibars. So the pressure is falling very quickly here, and that's a very impressive pressure reading out of the central portion of that storm. Going on over, we do have watches and warnings in effect. Haiti up towards the islands here under tropical storm warnings, and then places like Cuba down towards Jamaica, and then up towards these islands here, we are under hurricane warnings there. And then off the east coast and southeast peninsula of Florida, there is that tropical storm warning in effect there that could be upgraded to a hurricane watch. We'll just have to wait and see what happens there. Here's the water vapor imagery from Sandy. You can see not a lot of dry air around it. There's a little bit here, but it's pushing it out. You can see a very well-rounded storm with a nice little eye just making landfall on Cuba there. I think I was told the eye is about 21 square miles, of clearing there, so that's a pretty small little eye. Going on over, taking a look, let's shift from the tropical to over the continental U.S. This is the 500 millibar jet stream. You can see this big trough dipping in here, 120 to 140 mile per hour winds here, so a very potent 500 millibar trough is coming in from the west, and that's going to be moving off to the east over the next several days, and that's going to be one of the major players as we get into the weekend here for this storm that's going to go up the East Coast. Let's go on over and kind of identify what's going on. Of course, we talked about we talked about this 500 millibar trough coming in. Of course, there's Hurricane Sandy. We have this high sitting up here as well. That's going to be lifting off this way, but it's going to kind of help block some things up here, I think, from getting out to sea. I think it's going to keep Sandy from going, this way, where it's probably going to go more up, this kind of like this direction, and, meandering up there. It's going to go kind of around this high, and it'll keep Sandy from, block it from going out here. Going on over, let's go into to the forecast models. We've taken kind of a wider angle out on these to a broader view. Let's go on. This is the GFS model. This is actually let's see. I was trying to see. This is the GFS model, and this is the 0Z, I guess. Right here. I was trying to see. It seems like there should be a validity here, but anyways, this is as we get into Friday afternoon. Here's Sandy sitting down here. Here's a front coming through, big high pressure dome. Some cold air here. In fact, if we look at our our thickness, we're at a 540 and a 534 thickness here with these blue lines, and that's cold air. Your cold air snow transition line is probably the 534 this time of year. We'll use that just to be safe for any kind of snow. As we get into Saturday, here comes Sandy coming off the East Coast. We get some rain starting to develop off of the Georgia, South Carolina coast. Here comes your front down through here. Your high still stationed up here. As we get into Sunday, Sandy sitting off here. Your trough is going to be coming in at 500 millibars through here. Here's that front coming through. And then now they start interacting with each other as you get into Monday. Sandy starts to get pushed slightly off the coast. and then it does go off the coast. This is the latest GFS, and it almost wants to form almost like a secondary low right here, which is possible, but I'm not really 100% sure I agree with a secondary low forming off the coast here. And then, of course, spreads snow more closer to Pennsylvania. And then here comes your low. Your main low starts to miss the continental U.S., heading more up towards the Canada area, and then a big area of cold air sitting right in here. So some of the snow, where this moisture gets wrapped into it, could turn the snow on the north side of this. We'll just have to wait and see. But let's go over, this is the European model. This is the 12Z. This is a model that I'm a little bit more comfortable with. This is as we get into Friday. Here's Sandy down here just off of the Florida coast. As we get into Saturday, continuing to move off kind of to the north and northeast. As we get into Sunday, here comes that front coming through, that trough coming through, and then here's Sandy sitting here. Now watch what happens as we get into Monday afternoon, early afternoon. Here's Sandy starting to come to shore, and by this time, this thing's starting to get wrapped up into this trough that's digging into the 500 millibar flow, and we'll show you that here in just a second. And then as we get into later on Monday, it's making landfall somewhere right in here. Is a pretty strong storm. Right now, it doesn't look like we have any snowfall really being wrapped into the Euro solution, but that's changed back and forth. We'll just have to wait and see how much cold air is available back here. And then as we get into Tuesday, it does start the weekend once it gets over land, but it is kind of caught up in that trough. Now here's my favorite solution that we've had so far. This is a Japanese model. This is the JMA model. This is as we get into early morning on Saturday, about 8 o'clock East Coast time. Here's Sandy sitting down here. As we get into Sunday morning, Sandy sitting off the East Coast, just kind of east of the South Carolina, North Carolina border there. Here comes your front and your trough starting to move through. And then as we get into Monday, Sandy's still sitting out here, but finally it's going to get caught up in the trough. Now look back here out towards Ohio. Central Ohio, western Ohio, starting to get some moisture wrapping around into the cold air, which means snowfall potentially for western Ohio, maybe even central Ohio. And then as we get into Tuesday, Sandy really starts to bomb out. Here's your cold air. It's going to be sitting right through here. About right through here. And so you're getting snow all the way into this area from western and central Ohio, maybe even into western PA, up towards Michigan and down towards the Virginias here, while the west or the East Coast is getting pounded by very heavy rain and very high winds here. And, so it's going to be interesting. And then the low continues to move up with a lot of snow still falling down here on the backside of it. I mean, there's our 534 thickness line. And so, it's safe to say definitely in this area, there's probably snow, and potentially as much as into this area. We'll just have to wait and see. Going on over a quick view of the 500 millibar vorticity pattern here in the trough. Here you go, trough coming in. This is from the GFS, I believe. This is an older GFS. Here comes your trough coming in. Here's Sandy down here. As we get into Saturday, here's your trough, and Sandy starting to come up the East Coast. And then as we get into Sunday, your trough starts to dig in here out through Ohio and Pennsylvania. Sandy still off the East Coast, but watch what happens here. This is as we get into Monday. This trough takes on a negative tilt, and Sandy's going to try and get caught up. You can see these isobars kind of coming in, and Sandy's going to get caught up in this trough, and watch what happens here. Now the trough's dug in like this, and Sandy's kind of within it, and it does form kind of almost like a cutoff low here across the northeast. So, there's a lot of different things that are happening with this system. It's really hard to say exactly what's going to happen, but we're going to have to monitor it, and we will monitor it as we go over through the next several days. Because honestly, it's still really up in the air. So, anyways, that's all I have for tonight, and we'll continue to watch this, and I'll post more as we go throughout the next several days and throughout the weekend, just because this is could potentially be a pretty significant storm. Till next time, I'm Joseph Cooper. Have a great night.